Good morning. I'm Andrea Covarrubias, and welcome to today's family service. I'm probably familiar, hopefully, but I have chaired service with the Scouts, high school, and even my family, but this is my first time solo, so bear with me. But we will begin today's service with silent meditation led by Reverend Smitty.
Gasho, we are here to awaken from our illusion of separateness and permanence. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Please turn to page 35 in the service book for Sutra chanting Jusei-ge, led by Reverend Smitty.
Gagon chosegan ishimu jodo shigan fumanzok sehujo shogak gao muryoko huidai seshu Husai shobingu sehujo shogak gashi jobundo myosho chojipo hukyo mishomon sehujo shogak ryokujin shonen joe shubongyo shigumu jodo isho teninshi jinriki endaiko Husho musaido shoujo san kumyo kosai shuyakunan kaihichi egen meshi konmo an Heisoku sho akudo tsudaten zen shumon koso jo manzok ioro jippo nichigaten shujuki Tenko onpugen ishukai hozo kose kudoku ho jo dai shuchu seppo shishiku kuyo sai bud gusoku shutoku hon kane shinjo man Tokui sangai o nyobuten mugechi tsudaten mi husho gangaku erik toshi sai shoson shiganya koka daisen okando koku shotenin touchin myoke namandabu 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 Kanishikudoku Pyodo Seisai Dohon Modaishin Ojo Anrako. Sho namandab 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 namandab.
We will now listen to a Dharma message by Certified Minister's Assistant Bill Teague.
Hello, everyone. Please join me in Gasho. The light of wisdom exceeds all measure, and every finite living being receives this illumination that is like the dawn. So take refuge in Amida, the true and real light. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, everyone, thanks so much for coming. It's nice to see so many of you here. We'll get back to that quotation towards the end, but I did want to, just as a personal note, express my gratitude for Reverend Sterling, our resident minister, and Reverend Smitty, our officiant, for allowing me to share a few words of the Dharma with you, and also for allowing me to do it from down here. My balance isn't as good as it should be, so I've never had any accidents up on the Gene, but I don't want to start. So for right now, I'm going to be down here, and it's wonderful because I get to see all of you eye to eye, just about, so that's fabulous. But in the meanwhile, I wanted to share some good news with you coming from science. although I was hopeful to see even more young people here because I think they'd appreciate it even more. But here's the good news. Now we know why old people smell. Now, it's not a horrible smell, but there is such a thing as an old person smell. And it's a smell that younger folks don't have. And the smell is sometimes described as greasy or grassy or musty. But it has nothing to do with hygiene. People who have that smell, and it's going to be all of us when we get old enough, it's a real natural change caused by a chemical called 2-nonanol, a decrease in skin antioxidants and changes in skin oils. So it actually sneaks up on you, but around age 40, the skin starts producing more of a fatty acid called omega-7. Nothing wrong with that. But omega-7 then oxidizes to create this compound called 2-nonanol because it oxidizes in the air. As people age, too, the body makes fewer natural antioxidants to stop this oxidation process on the skin. 2-nonanol does not dissolve easily in water. This means standard soap and water cannot easily wash it away, and it can stick to clothing and follow you around a little bit. So my advice to all my fellow oldsters is to use a slightly abrasive washcloth, or they even make a nice bath mitt that's meant to help you exfoliate, get rid of dead skin cells, and that will help even more. But it's not a horrible problem. But I just thought that was kind of interesting, and it helped me think more about my own situation, getting older, and how that correlates with the Dharma. So anyway, if you think you're young and never have to worry about this, guess again. It's just one more thing to look forward to. I remember being a little kid hugging grandparents and such, and I don't think I was so much aware of it, although I had one special situation. I did have a step-grandmother who got through the day the old-fashioned way by smoking constantly and drinking. So she had a really good odor about her, but I was smart enough as a little kid even not to say anything about it and still accept the hug. But I've been thinking about getting older and the Buddhist understanding. First, there's the concept of impermanence from the basic teachings of the Buddha. And I know we have a few visitors here. Don't get worried about the fact that we talk about Amida Buddha. In our understanding, Amida Buddha incorporates and builds upon and is coexistent even with the historical Buddha. And the founder of our particular sect, Shinran Shonin, which happened in the medieval period in Japan, he loved the teachings, the historical teachings, and built upon them. So I thought it might be interesting to talk about impermanence a little bit from the historical Buddhist perspective, the teachings that generated so many different branches, schools, and sects of Buddhism today, as well as a few insights that we are especially fortunate to have within our Jodo Shinshu tradition. So most of you know that impermanence is one of the 3 marks of existence in the early teachings of the Buddha. This comes from the first sermon that the historical Buddha gave upon his enlightenment, sometimes called the first turning of the wheel of Dharma. And those other marks are interdependence and then suffering. That is, the Buddha thought that existence had those 3 marks, that things are always changing, that we are not independent the way we think we are of all other phenomena, and that there is suffering in this world. It may or may not be avoidable to some degree, but I think all of you have probably had an experience. I mean, we are so lucky most of the time we go around and we don't have that much to suffer. But I think everyone here, regardless of your age, has found something, some external event, the loss of a loved one or other challenge that it has been very difficult to deal with. The quick loss on suffering from a Buddhist perspective is that it's caused because we can't accept the change. That's pretty heavy, but it doesn't mean that we have to accept our suffering, but we are encouraged by the Buddha to transcend it by examining it in certain ways, and I'll be touching upon that in a minute. Within Jodo Shinshu, and this is my personal interpretation, but I'm seeing more and more of a connection between impermanence and the concept of being, and we are meant to accept the fact that that's us, that we are the ignorant, foolish being, and because of that, we suffer unnecessarily because we have a difficulty in accepting change. So who is a Bombu? From a Buddhist perspective, we're all Bombu. And that even includes Shinran Shonin, who wrote about the Bombu, the founder of our sect, and he included himself. He did not say, okay, well, now I'm above that level. He was a remarkable, humble Buddhist teacher. He said that I, too, am a Bombu. But what we don't often talk about, well, first off, I guess in the mechanics of Jodo Shinshu, understanding that you're a Bombu is the first step to realizing your true nature and being able to live this life with less suffering. That is, if you recognize your own faults and flaws, you can do something about them. That is, you can be proactive a little bit. If you recognize that a particular event or comment or individual triggers you in some way, you can think about that. Okay, well, next time, what am I going to do when that triggers me? Am I going to react like I usually do? Or can I go ahead and take a breath? Or is there some accommodation I can make that will avoid me getting so upset? So that's a very traditional approach to how being a Bombu is a step. It's a part of the process by which we increase our spirituality, if you will. I'm not sure that's the best way to describe it, but how we can go ahead and move forward along a spiritual path. The reason I'm making a big point of that is that if you listen to the Dharma that relates to Jodo Shinshu and the Bombu, you're sometimes lulled into a sense that being a Bombu is static, and that we just accept the fact, okay, well, I'm a Bombu, I've recognized that, that's all I have to do in this world. On the contrary, recognizing you're a Bombu gives you the ethical incentive to do something about it. And it's a gradual process in which we go ahead and see ourselves more clearly. And it's not a simple process where, okay, I'm foolish, I'm ignorant, I accept that. No, it's something that upon reflection, especially if you have difficulties in your day, you can take a look at that. How can I avoid such difficulties with an unfavorable reaction? It's a process. It's an active moving forward. And in honesty, no one in this world escapes being a Bombu to some degree, because the truth, absolute truth, however you want to describe it, is beyond our human comprehension. So only a few individuals, like the Buddha, the historical Buddha, achieve that level of awakening. But they are inspiring to the rest of us so we can travel on that path. I'm grateful to Reverend Smitty for a recent Dharma message in which she brought up one of my favorite quotes from Greek philosophy from Heraclitus. Maybe you'll recall it, but she said, Heraclitus said, you can't step in the same stream twice. For Heraclitus, that was his way of explaining that he saw reality as constantly changing. That was bedrock for him. And Reverend Smitty quickly followed that up with the Buddhistic understanding that you can't step in the same stream once because everything is changing. And I can push that a teeny bit further. It's not just the stream that is streaming. We are streaming. We're constantly undergoing change. I'll date myself even more if I talk about a popular movie of my youth, but one reason I thought that The Matrix was so powerful, the first Matrix, is there comes a time when Neo, the person who's living in a kind of hyper-reality, suddenly realizes everything is code. And the screen, wherever he looks, you kind of have the outline of objects, you have the outline of the room he's in, but it's all streaming. Very powerful. That's our lives as Buddhists. So there's a positive side of that, and now I'm talking from someone with his feet on the ground and limited perception, but the positive side of it is that we can recognize that because everything is changing, we can change, and our conditions can change as well. The Stoic, S-T-O-I-C approach, lowercase s in this case, the Stoic approach is to say, okay, I can live with that. Everything's changing. Because sooner or later, things might get better. The Buddhist perspective is that you can't will the world to change. I know there's a famous quote in Buddhism, maybe you've heard this, with our minds we make the world. That does not mean that we can change water into wine or do any kind of miracle things, but what it means is that our response to the external events that might cause suffering is under our control. And in a deep Buddhist understanding, this is not easy, but it's something available to us. We can think about why we are suffering in the present moment. What can we learn from that? What can we do in the future to make things better? So this is, again, a personal restatement of some of the basic truths of Buddhism, but one of them is that we are always becoming. And if you think about your own lives, you may even recall back when you were a baby. You were becoming a baby. You were learning how to be a baby. And that was a process that kept going and going, and that at some point you might find yourself identified as a little boy or a little girl, and you are becoming a little boy, a little girl. You're learning each day how to become who you are becoming. That's the Buddhist understanding. So there's nothing static, nothing passive about Jodo Shinshu. There's nothing static, nothing passive about being a Bombu. Oddly enough, it's our way of transcending the self. It seems like it's very focused on yourself, but what you're looking at is focusing on the limited self, seeing how that changes, and learning from it so that you can live even more ethically. You can avoid getting upset quite as easily. There's another shortcut here, and that is if we are not who we are, or we're not who we think we are, who are we? The Buddhist insight is very difficult to accept the Buddhist insight is that at base, we're everybody. And if we're everybody, we don't have to win every argument. Do you understand? If we're everybody, we realize that we have our very strong point of view because of our past karma, how we were raised, things we may not have had control over, and there certainly is truth in what we think, but we have to recognize that the person on the other side of the conversation is in the same boat. The karmic influences brought them to their point of view. So I know it sounds like a cop-out, but it's not. It's the hard solution. If you want to behave ethically, you have to remind yourself that you are everybody. There is a specialized, what's the right word, school of Buddhist learning which focuses on Buddhist ethics. And many who are professors in that field, who study it deeply, say that in Buddhist ethics, you continue to study the problem. That's your unless there's somebody drowning right next to you and you can pull them out, study the problem. Because what you're hoping for as a Buddhist, you're looking for a great solution that is good for everybody. It's hard. We're in a time of wars right now. I can't imagine how the United States might repair its relationship with Iran, the people in Iran who've lost loved ones. It's going to be very difficult. One hopes that in our world we'll find solutions that are good for everybody, not just one side. It's very easy for us to know what our one side is. It's not so easy for us to know and understand authentically, truly, deeply what's good for everybody. So I've just identified a few things. Our limited self is not who we truly are from the Buddhist perspective. We're more than that. And it's at this point I just wanted to make a strong call out to the central image of Pure Land Buddhism. The central image of Pure Land Buddhism is that regardless of our limitations, we will eventually become Buddhas. In the sutras about Amida Buddha, Amida becoming a Buddha as a bodhisattva makes a number of amazing vows, but the biggest one is that whoever recites his name sincerely will be assured of enlightenment. Maybe not in this life, but assured. So you don't have to worry about that. What's at work on a street level from our perspective is that if you can accept at least the concept of that teaching, it will be much easier. You don't have to worry about the fact that you're not Buddhas already if you're sincere about that. You accept your limitations, but then you look for what you can do, not what is beyond your capabilities. And that way we're always moving forward. So it could be problematic from some points of view, because if they hear about that part of the Jodo Shinshu doctrine, that we are, if you will, and this is a loaded term, but if we are saved by Amida Buddha, that is, by the other power of the wisdom and compassion inherent in the Buddhist teachings, if we're saved by that, that's difficult sometimes to accept. But just think of it from our limited point of view as a schematic chart that lets you know if you are sincere about becoming a follower of the Buddha, you're on your way to becoming a Buddha. And knowing that removes a great deal of anxiety from everyday life. And it may allow you to have the broad perspective to deal with some of the horrible things that modern life throws at us. So instead of lamenting, instead of getting upset, or maybe get upset, but then later on think about it, you have options. Things within your capability. In other words, you don't stand outside the problem. You don't say, I'm the problem, but you understand your relationship to the problem. In that Venn diagram, the problem is here and you are there, and in the intersection of the two, there may be things you can do. You're not the problem, but you're part of the problem because you are everybody. So with that sort of shorthand version of some of the basic truths that come to us not just from historical Buddhism, but also Jodo Shinshu, that when I go ahead and do the reading next, which talks about the light of Amida, I hope that it will make more sense to you. I did briefly want to mention that next Sunday there will be no service. Saturday we have our Bon Odori, a wonderful festival of joy. I hope you enjoy it. There's more information on the website, but there is a service at 2 p.m., and then there's dancing that starts at 6:30 p.m., but the temple grounds, we can't park in the parking lot, but we have food trucks and other things, and that's where we're going to be doing our dancing. You're welcome to attend that as well. And then starting on August 9th, the temple's allowing me to do 4 weeks of basic Buddhist teachings. So if you're interested in some of the basic Buddhist teachings on their own, not reinterpreted by Jodo Shinshu, you're welcome to attend. I hasten to add that the founder of our sect, Shinran Shonin, loved those teachings. He was a devoted scholar, Buddhist scholar. In paintings of him, you'll see him with a white collar. We learned from our supervising minister, Reverend Gregory Gibbs, at one point, that was a special distinction given to the students at the major Buddhist university at the time on Mount Hiei in Kyoto, Japan, that indicated everyone recognized his deep understanding of the historical teachings. So I appreciate your kind attention today. If you could please put your hands together in Gassho. The light of wisdom exceeds all measure, and every finite living being receives this illumination that is like the dawn. So take refuge in Amida, the true and real light. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namada. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Teague, for your wonderful and informational Dharma message on multiple teachings of Jodo Shinshu, including Bonbu and impermanence. I am now accepting that eventually I will smell like an old person. So I'm awaiting that. If you could please rise for the Gatha Ondok-san, which can be found on page 128 of the service book. Please remain standing for the recitation of our pledge, which can be found on the insert glued to the last page of the service book. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Gasho. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Namandabs. Namandabs. Please be seated. Jamie Shimuzu will now begin the scholarship presentation.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see a lot of you here today. As our lovely chair mentioned, my name is Jamie Shimizu. I am on the scholarship committee for the temple. And today we will be presenting scholarship awards to 9 amazing students, well-deserving as well, for the 2026 to 2027 academic school year. The scholarships that are being presented are named after 2 past members who helped the temple grow and thrive in the post-war period and were avid supporters of the temple youth. The Ben Honda Memorial Scholarship is awarded to high school graduates who are looking to pursue their higher education. And the Tetsuyo Kashima Memorial Scholarship is awarded to those who are continuing to pursue their higher education. So before we present the awards, the committee would like to extend their deepest gratitude to the Sangha members and friends who make it possible to offer these scholarships, whether it's through direct donations, check-offs on the membership form, or if you are a shopper at the Obonigan shop, which is actually open in the Sangha Hall. All those proceeds go to the scholarship fund. In other words, we appreciate everyone. So we will begin the awards for the Ben Honda Memorial High School Graduate Scholarships. So as I call your name, please come up, offer incense, and then if you have your parents or grandparents or a family member with you, I'd like to ask them to come up as well. And please stay up here until the end, and then we'll have like a group photo. Hold on. Okay, first, I'd like to call up Andrea Covarrubias. Paulina graduated from Hilltop High School, and she will begin her path in environmental economics and policy at the University of California, Berkeley in the fall. And then her father, Hector, is coming up with her. Our next recipient is Spirit Sunthornan. Spirit graduated from St. Augustine High School. He will be attending the University of San Francisco in the fall and will be majoring in computer science and AI. Spirit isn't able to be with us, but his parents are both up here coming up to accept on his behalf. These are the recipients for the high school graduate scholarships, and they also are receiving a copy of former Bishop Kei Tsuji's The Heart of the Buddha Dharma. Now we'll move on to the Tetsuyo Kashima Continuing Education Memorial Scholarships. There are 7 recipients. So as I call your name, please come up, offer incense, and then stay up here for a photo at the end. The first recipient is actually our chairperson for today's service, Andrea Covarrubias. Andrea is entering her 3rd year at the University of California, Los Angeles, and is continuing her studies in microbiology, immunology, and molecular genetics. Our next recipient is Cassidy Muraoka. Cassidy will be going into her 2nd year at the University of California, Berkeley in the fall and continuing her studies in business and administration. Cassidy was unable to be here, so her father, Ken, is accepting on her behalf. Next is Evan Ong. Evan is going into his final year at San Diego State University and is continuing his studies in mechanical engineering. Evan is unable to be here with us today, so his father, Mike, is accepting on his behalf. Our next recipient is Maya Hota. Maya is continuing her studies in public health at San Diego Mesa Community College, and she is being accompanied by her father, Eugene. Our next recipient is Sebastian Oliva. Sebastian is attending the University of California, Irvine with continued studies in philosophy. Sebastian isn't able to be here with us, but his grandmother, Yuri, is here to accept on his behalf. Our next recipient is Ty Jones. Ty is entering his final year as a psychology major at California State University, Long Beach. Ty is unable to be here today, so we'll give him his award at a later date. Okay, and our last recipient is Haley Sasaki. Haley is also entering her final year as a law student at Boston University School of Law. Haley is unable to be here today as she is finishing up her internship in New York, so her parents, Brian and Lauren, are here to accept on her behalf. So recipients of the continuing education scholarships are receiving a copy of Thich Nhat Hanh's The Miracle of Mindfulness. At this time, we have one more special presentation. I'd like to take a moment to specially recognize Ayako Enix, who received a BTSD Scholarship Committee grant to attend this year's BCA Summer Youth Retreat. This week-long retreat is held annually at the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley, where students in high school learn more and get a deeper understanding in Buddhism and create friendships in the process as well. I would like to invite Aya to come up to receive the award. Okay, Okay, so we have a lot of upcoming graduates, and I wish all of them the best of luck, and all of our continuing education and high school graduates the best of luck for the coming school year. So let's give everyone a round of applause one more time. And I also don't want to forget, I'd like to also thank all the parents, the friends, family, and everyone who supported all of the students up here today who are receiving it. All that support helps them as well. So a round of applause to them as well. Okay. So we'll go ahead and take a photo, and then that'll conclude the scholarship presentations. So thank you very much.
Personal thank you from me to the scholarship committee and everyone who supports that. We'll now continue. Are there any announcements at this time?
Hello. The Junior YBA is having our annual opportunity drawing with the grand prize of $500. Tickets are $5 each, so please see any Junior YBA member for tickets. And we'll be selling at Obon too, so have your money ready.
Hi everybody, I'm Lorene Ota. I guess I'm continually growing things. I have 7 tomato plants. I think they're Romas, so they're down in the dining room. So I think there's still time enough in the season to grow something. Thank you. Oh, you'll have to, sorry. They're in cups like this. Some of them have holes. Don't forget to poke a hole for drainage.
My name is Ken Moroka. I'm the chairperson for the Obon for this year, the Bon Odori this year. As you know, it will be coming up on August 1st. It takes a lot of people to set up everything on Saturday. We're going to be setting up at 9 a.m. It should only take maybe 3 hours to set up everything. We have to put up the lights, the chairs, the tables, and get ready for the evening's event. So if you're able to help during that time, we'd appreciate it. You know, come on out about 9 a.m. And we're gonna, the more people that are out there, the quicker it'll go, and we'll be able to set up all the tables, set up all the signs and everything. We'll even have a Yagura, the big tower that will be in the middle. So all that takes a little bit, a lot of help. So if you guys could come out, everybody would appreciate it. Everybody all our guests that evening will appreciate it as well. And then, so how the day will go, at 2 o'clock, we will have our service, and then at 4 o'clock, the Bon Odori will open its doors, so we'll have food and everything starting at that point. Then at 6:30, the dancing will begin. So from 4 o'clock, they will be, if you have kimonos and need help putting them on, that will occur in room 4. So they'll have 3 people that can help with kimonos and other things that you may have difficulties with. From 5, they'll have the kimono helping you put on with kimonos, and then at 6:15 or 6:20 we'll start lining up to prepare for the dance, or all the dancers that will go out there. The dancing will go on from 6:30 to about 8:45 or so. And then we'll have to put everything back away. So if you could help on either end or both ends, that would be great. So I hope to see you this coming Saturday, August 1st, and invite your friends too. There is, I think, a parking. I know parking's always a problem. There's a parking map online, so if you will be able to go onto the temple website, you'll be able to find maps of where you could possibly park throughout the area here. All right. One of them is Kimborough, one of them is the Ark, and then there'll be some street parking as well. Street parking from the businesses that are closed on Saturdays. All right, thank you.
Good morning. Today we have a couple of new visitors here. They're first time here. Their names are Raihan and Miss Julia. Would you like to stand up? And if the congregation could welcome them into our temple. This is their first day, and they have interest in Buddhism, so maybe we can all, when we introduce ourselves, share our Dharma with them. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Nice to see so many of you here today. Congratulations to all the recipients of the scholarship. Just a couple of announcements to piggyback off of next Saturday. Our Obon Hatsubon service is at 2 p.m. Our guest speaker will be Reverend Yuki Sugahara. He's a Rinban, the chief minister at the Sacramento Buddhist Church. He will give the Dharma message on Saturday in both English and Japanese. So hope all of you will be able to attend that service. And of course, the Hatsubon portion of the service is for those who have lost loved ones in the this past year since Obon of 2025. And there'll be a candle lighting ceremony for those families. We have deadlines today. First, for those who are going to be want to receive their Buddhist name, today is the last day to turn in your application and fees for the Kieshiki. So I'll be downstairs in the office to accept these today. Also, today is the last day for our fundraising effort to help Reverend and Mrs. Hata. They were victims of a elder targeted scam in Los Angeles, and we're raising funds to help them in their recovery. So that will end today as well. Let's see, and then we have one more. We have a temple will be hosting a Tri-Temple seminar on Saturday, August 29th. There are flyers downstairs in the office and in the Busei script that'll be coming out on this week. There's information in there as well. Okay, thank you.
All right, one more announcement. As we count down to Obon, we have just 2 more Obon practices left to learn all the dances for as we get set for next week's dancing. So we got one today after service, and then we have one more on Wednesday at 7 p.m. also in the Annex Hall. So for all of you to learn those dances and a final tune-up before our Obon on Saturday.
Thank you, everyone. Please join me now in closing meditation. Wisdom of the all-compassionate one, so shine within our hearts and minds that the mists of error and the foolish vanity of self be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and reach spiritual peace. Gasho, Namo Midabs, Namo Midabs, Namo Midabs, Namandabs, Namanda. This will conclude today's service. Thank you all for joining us both in person and online. Thank you, Reverend Smitty, for officiating today's service, Bill Teague for your wonderful message, Yukari Williams for flowers and helping set up the Onaijin, as well as Ms. Sharon Sasaki, Robert Yamamoto for the music, and Reverend for technical assistance, as well as Jamie Shimuzu and Reverend Smitty for their presentation of the scholarships. At this time, we invite you to offer incense and join us downstairs for hospitality or a Obon practice or Obon shopping. Thank you.